Hello, collective. How are you? So today I am going to be doing that dream thing again. Last time I did Virgo, Pisces, Capricorn, and Aquarius. I am letting Siri decide as it picks a number from 1 to 12. Now, last time we didn't have any repeat numbers, which was really cool. It was very cool. If the colors are a little weird, actually they're pretty close. I did a little bit of the adjusting of the settings, so I didn't have to turn off my overhead light, so I can see these. To try to get these to show up, and I hope they do. So last time some of these were a little heavy. I'm using the mystical dream tarot, and I'm kind of sort of allowing the cards to speak. You know, and we'll see. We'll see what comes up. Whatever needs to come up. Whoa. Ooh, the Nine of Wands with that Empress. I feel like the Nine of Wands with the Empress speaks to the responsibilities, I guess, that an Empress energy would have. Um, but it never gets overwhelmed by it, right? So it never quite reaches that overburdened space of the Ten of Wands. But with that Nine of Wands, it's about responsibility. The responsibilities of the Empress, the responsibilities of a creator, the responsibilities of a sovereign, right? Just because you have some authority doesn't mean that you get to do whatever you want and you act. Um, it's like whenever, ooh, Eight of Swords, whenever consequences are sort of like perceived to be absent, why do we like go all fully off the deep end? Sometimes we're gonna look crazy, but all right, so let's get into this. I'm going to open up my little notepad so I can jot these timestamps down as I go along. Right? Where's the notepad? Hello? Notepad. There we go. And I can see the times. So, there we go. Hey Siri, flip a coin. Nope, don't do that. Hey Siri, pick a number between 1 and 12.
A random number between 1 and 12 is 1.
It's 1. So we're starting with Aries. Aries is going to start at 2:35. It's interesting because one of my Aries best friends, actually both of my Aries best friends, I've talked to both to them today. And it's been a while since I've talked to either. So Aries, I guess I'm in the vicinity of y'all's energy already. So, well, I don't know if I'm in the vicinity of the energy, but I've talked to some Aries today. I know an Aries, so I'm kind of sort of in your energy by proxy. My best friend is an Aries. I have two best friends that are Aries. What do you mean I don't know? So, let's get into this. So for Aries, give it three more, two more. There we go. The Nine of Cups. Bottom of the deck is the Lady of Pentacles. I haven't seen the Lady of Pentacles yet. It's all been the Lord of Pentacles. So I'm excited. I might actually. No, I'm not going to read the Lady. There's the Lady of Pentacles. Let's see if I can keep this here in a way that. See, I really like the setup from last time. But last time I used the camera app to record. The Lord of Swords, Lady of Pentacles, and Lord of Swords. That it keeps wanting to slide off. So the Lady of Pentacles and the Lord of Swords at the bottom. Pentacles is all about Earth. Swords is all about the mind. Pentacles are about Earth. It's about our physical sort of experience, right? And the Lady is the nurturer. Speaking of that, oh, I guess I'll turn it down. Speaking of that Empress energy, the Queen of Pentacles, Lady of Pentacles, is the nurturing aspect of the Empress. And the Lord of Swords, it's sort of the practicality. Now, this is right off the bat reminding me of someone. I think it was Miss Remy Healing's last time she ran through the Zodiac and Aries popped up. No, it was either her or Russell from Rustling Around. And I was like, oh, no, no, no. It was Rob. It was Rob when Rob had Untitled Tarot on. I am really bad at remembering who did what today. Um, but I was like, is this the energy of Aries? It's like Aries, since it is the baby of the zodiac, since sometimes it can be perceived as a little like brash or like rushed. There we go. It looks straight up black and white on the table. That's interesting because it's almost like distance makes this lose its color. Like, see, when you get closer, you can see like the blues and stuff. But from this space, it looks all like it's all black and white. Now, maybe you can still see the colors in it, but I did say that the colors are going to be a little off today. And here's the Nine of Cups. Okay. This is in the shadow here, so let's move this here. And now this is in this shadow. Oh gosh. Bear with me, Aries. I mean, y'all's the baby of the zodiac, so I'll get it figured out with y'all, and it'll already be set up for everybody else. It was this energy of like, since Aries can be perceived that way, maybe sometimes it overcompensates to like almost try to be taken seriously. But you don't have to do that. This Nine of Cups is interesting. Nine of Cups is traditionally a card of wish fulfillment. But there's something. Oh, this is atomic. And it's interesting because in that message too, it was like, Aries, you don't have to put on like a certain persona to be respected or to be listened to or for your opinion to be considered as valid, right? For you to be taken seriously. Like, you're not immature. You don't have to act like a big boy or a big girl or a businessman or woman or person to be taken seriously. There's something that is innate within you that is your key to getting whatever you want. And with the symbolage of an atom here, with the nucleus and then these electrons, also four, it's the number of, it's like the maximum for a lot of atoms, it's the maximum number of connections that they can have, and everywhere that they can have a connection there is one. Now at first something about this seemed a little confusing, like in the camera if I look at it. Now when it's this close you can tell that it's atomic, right? But when it was like here, it kind of sort of looked like a ball of tangled yarn. And so it's like it's wish fulfillment there, but there may be a need to sort of focus or hone in a little bit. It's like concentrating your fire. It's like turning it into a laser instead of it just sort of blazing out of control. Or it's like lightning focused. And that giving you some kind of propulsion. The Five of Pentacles. Oh, yeah, you can see it as the first card out. So that could definitely speak to like not being taken seriously in the past. The Nine of Cups again, sitting above the Nine of Cups. What? Definitely in that wish fulfillment Nine of Cups energy. But here it's like there's the crescent moon at the top. Here it's very like, I feel like it isn't necessarily, it may not feel like it's necessarily immediately obvious. And this one jumped out. Mystery card. Bottom of the deck is the Knight of Pentacles, the Son of Pentacles. So there definitely is something. And again, we have that repeated symbolism of the crescent moon. But here it's almost an eclipse energy because this pentacle is eclipsing. This is lunar eclipse energy. And look, there's the Father of Swords with the Lord of Swords right here. So we have this court earth energy at the top of both. One is the knight, the other one is the lady in the space of the queen. It's the sun and the lady. And then the Father and the Lord of Swords. This right here this reminds me of the lanterns that we're in Russell's Chiron reading. So if you know where your Chiron is, check out Rustling Around. He did Chiron through the zodiacs. You look at your sun sign and your Chiron, where you natally have Chiron. Chiron right now is actually in Aries. Trying to get that out of the shadow, or as much out of the shadow as I can. There we go. And then we have this mystery card. So yeah, with the lady and this knight, there is some earthen energy. Again, it feels like it's that trying to figure out who you have to be and how you have to be to successfully navigate your experience or to be taken seriously in your experience. But with the atomic nature of this and the Father of Swords, Lord of Swords, it's like whatever, it's like you already have the key within you. Don't reject who you are in order to be seen more favorably. Now, can you learn to, like, what is the cater towards certain things? Can you learn to pull on certain strengths more in certain situations? Yeah. But it's like, don't reject who you are completely. So I'm going to read the Nine of Cups. I am actually going to read the Lady of Swords because I'm curious. Like, we keep seeing the Lady of Pentacles. I kept seeing the Lord of Pentacles. But that Lady of Pentacles, what's she about? So, the Nine of Cups. The world turns and the seasons flow one into another. Spring giving rise to summer. Autumn birthing winter. Beneath the blazing heat of the sun, life bursts forth in abundance before receding into the barrenness of the winter freeze. Life cycles rule in quiet and severe ways as life winds itself along the river of time, slowly moving from birth to death. The wheels of time stop for no one. Great calamities fall equally upon king and peasant. Excuse me. One enters the cycle and comfortably settles into a routine when an unexpected change sends life spinning in different directions, making the old ways inaccessible. Foreign little acrobats and wait, what? No. Yeah. Foreign little acrobats balance the turning wheels. The familiar vanishes. In the upside down, inside out world of change, there is discomfort and fear, yet that which is foreign today shall be familiar tomorrow. The end of one period merely marks the transition into another. There may be success on the completion of the old cycle, yet it can be accompanied with fear and uncertainty. Old problems are solved and celebrated, yet new ones step up to baffle and unsettle the peace of accomplishment. The wheels of the cycle roll forward. Life seems to be moving too quickly, and balance can easily be lost. In the midst of accomplishment rests the disturbance of change. The transition must be taken slowly, given time. That reminds me of what my friend was saying. And she said that she came upon a lost cow, or a cow in the middle of the road. And I was like, oh my gosh, the story about the cow in the middle of the road feels like it could symbolize something greater. And here we are. And so it's like the cow in the middle of the road escaped the pen, escaped the life it knew that was comfortable. Like, it was fed, it was taken care of, but maybe it didn't suit like the desires of that cow in particular. Maybe like that cow wanted more than just to be fed, right? Maybe it wanted to roam free and it wanted something that lied outside of the comfort of its enclosure that almost felt like a prison at times, maybe. And I think with this Son of Pentacles energy, Lady of Pentacles energy, and the Knight of Swords, maybe you've gotten really good at being who the world necessitates for you to be. Like, you've gotten really good at being who you need to be in order to get whatever comfort or stability, like to fall in line, basically, with how the world operates. But falling in line with how the world operates doesn't satisfy your soul. Like, there's something that you want that lies outside of that guaranteed comfortability. And so now you're in the space of venturing beyond and opening with this Five of Pentacles into the Nine of Cups. Maybe there's a little bit of an energy here of like when you break out, there are going to be certain ties that are lost, or maybe you're going to feel alone, right? Because Aries in general can be an extroverted energy. I feel like even if you are an introverted Aries, there are probably certain people that you experience a sort of, I guess revelry is the word that's, or reverie is the word that's coming to my mind. But you experience some kind of communal energy. You experience pleasure in them. And it almost feels like as you're coming upon this time where you may have to branch off on your own, or where you may have to close out old cycles, or where you give up a little bit of comfort for something that is more daring and fulfilling. But hey, you're Aries, so if anybody could do it, it's what the cardinal itself, right? The trailblazing fire starter that is Aries. But there may be something that you're missing out on, and it could just be that comfortability. It could be like knowing that you'll be taken care of, knowing that you'll have enough money for like your bills, and you'll probably like maybe you'll still be taken care of, but it may not be as comfortable as it was before. And I feel like it's coming through in a little bit of sacrifice here. This Lady of Pentacles, it almost looks like she's in a sarcophagus, and that like this is like a holy book that it's like being read at her funeral. But there is also a sort of judgment energy in this. Like she's rising from the ground, like she's about to come out of this unmummified. And look, here's again that crescent moon at the bottom. Coming out of the cycle of the crescent moon and into the cycle of the sun, like she has arisen. And maybe in the space of that death period, or when it was dark, that's where some of this higher insight was coming in. But I feel like that was higher insight that was coming maybe in the form of a dissatisfaction with how things were. It's like even though like there was some stability there, was there any happiness there? Maybe this is the energy that you were in before with the Five of Pentacles. Like I know that everything is sort of provided for, but somehow I still feel isolated, I still feel alone. And again, it feels like it may be connected to those things within self that you kind of sort of learn to sacrifice, or ways that you learn to not be, things that you sort of let go of in return for that increased stability. Now, mystery card is the Mother of Wands, Cardinal Fire. Aries, this is your energy. And so, yeah, it's like you're leaving what didn't work, leaving what left you outside. And it's like, did it work financially? Maybe, yeah. Did it work? Like, did it make sense to a lot of people? Probably. But it feels like it didn't fulfill you. Like, there was more here in this moon energy. It's like if something wasn't fulfilling all four of these aspects for you, then it's like it didn't work. Now, the four cardinal signs, it's Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And I'm feeling that cardinal cross with these, like all four of these feel like you. And this feels like an absolute you. These are relative yous. Like, oh, this is me when I go to work. This is me when I'm at home. This is me with my lover. This is me on Wednesday night while we turning up at the bar or the club, or when I want to have fun or something like that. And it's like it's finding something that can satisfy all four of those. And whatever this was that gave you stability, maybe it satisfied one or two or even three. But whatever it was, it didn't satisfy all of you. Now you're being asked to have the strength and the courage to come into your energy, to be yourself unapologetically, unabashedly, and find that which satisfies all. Right? There are 4 eggs, 3 eggs. We'll say we can't see the fourth. No, wait. There may be 4. It depends on how large these eggs are and how they're oriented under her. But I guess she is the snake. So maybe there are 3 eggs here. There are some ways that you're already being. There are certain aspects of you that are fully matured, other aspects of you that are more fully matured and socialized and civilized, if you want to say. A you that fits more neatly and cleanly with the societal expectations. it shields them from. Like, it doesn't show the world, it doesn't give those parts of self the opportunity to grow and mature like this one has. And I think it's time for you to do that. Not easy. Especially like, it's the more stability you have, the harder it may be to give it up. But if this is about your happiness and fulfillment, like, I feel like you're worth it, Aries. Do you feel like you're worth it? Do you feel like you're worth that more than, like, continuing to give into things that don't really fully satisfy you? Continuing to be who you should be, or who other people sort of require you to be, for you to be, I don't want to say useful for them, but easily accessible and easily utilized. But then in self, it's like you're found wanting. I mean, the Nine of Cups is here twice. I feel like whatever it is available to you. It's just going to require you to be more of you and more of your totality, and like genuinely you, authentically you, not the you that it's like, again, some of these, like three of these are stunted, one of these is fully matured. And so as you're being you, you need to allow also these the space to mature and not be so quick to stunt them further whenever you encounter any sort of challenge or obstacle. So I'm actually not going to read the Lady of Pentacles because I feel like I don't have to. There's also the, oh no, these are flowers. It looked like a stump for a second. That's what I got for you, Aries. All the best. Good luck. You deserve to occupy space in this world fully as yourself, not as the you that someone has convinced you that you need to be, or that you've convinced yourself that you need to be in order to be taken seriously in the world, or taken seriously in your field, or to progress. Wish fulfillment is here for you. And it feels like what you really desire is a space where you can be fully 100% you. And I feel like active or pioneering or trailblazing is a part of who you are and who you are meant to be and who you want to be. But it's to do that in a way that, again, more fulfills you completely, rather than, I want to say, like, what, touting someone else's line? Like walking someone else's tightrope. So I hope y'all have a good whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And I hope you find the courage and the bravery to be authentic in spaces where it can be challenging at first. And I also hope you find spaces where that authenticity is rewarded, where even if being vulnerable is a scary thought, that you feel safe enough to do it in those spaces, or that you're met with love and acceptance in spaces where you can more fully unravel yourself freely and still feel that love and appreciation that you deserve. Alright, so let's see who next. Hey Siri, choose a number between 1 and 12.
A random number between 1 and 12 is 12.
We already did Pisces. Pisces was second last time too. Hey Siri, choose a random number between 1 and 12.
A random number between 1 and 12 is 4.
Alright, Cancer. Actually, since I said Aries, Cancer, and it was from this card, I was getting cardinal cross energy. So I'm just going to do the cardinal signs. So Aries, Cancer, Libra. Wait, I've already done Capricorn. So the last one we'll discover. The last one will be a mystery. Cancer, I'm going to say you begin at 24, 14. Sure. So, Cancer. Let's see what's up for Cancer. I don't know why I do that sometimes. Ooh, 7 of Swords, Cancer. Sneaky. But it feels more like, yeah, with the Mother of Cups and the 7 of Swords at the cut, it feels more like pieces of yourself that you kind of sort of hide, or that you don't really talk about, or that you don't really show, because maybe you've learned in some way that you've learned to hide it for one reason or another. 7 of Swords, 8 of Swords. The Ace of Wands came out. So it feels like you are hiding in certain aspects, or you're not fully being yourself, or you're not opening up in certain ways. And some Ace of Wands is calling you out. It feels like it's calling you out in a positive way, but then going to that Eight of Swords, it feels like you refuse to see how you're already sort of ready for this. Or there's something within yourself. It's like, since you're refusing to be it, since you're refusing to allow it to be seen, then you're not being seen. It's like with that, that's a fully, like, that's a ripe cocoon. There's a butterfly inside of that thing. And it feels like you feel like you're the butterfly on the inside. Maybe. Maybe you're not allowing yourself to be the butterfly and this doesn't fully resonate. Partially, that could be it. But it's like you're not seeing it because, again, there's things that you're not allowing yourself to exhibit or be. Things that you probably by this time know that you could do. Because that Ace of Wands is calling you out. It's sort of trying to coax it out of you. Or you feel that change that's happened within you, other people don't see it, and you are in a space of frustration because other people don't see what's transpiring. But at the same time, it's like in some way you're not really allowing for it to be seen, or you're not being vulnerable and open. And oh my gosh, take the whole deck, Cancer. Psych, not doing that. Oh, what's this card though? This is your card, the Seven of Wands. Bottom of the deck is the Ouroboros 10. This one is a lizard. Or like a salamander. It's got legs instead of it just being a snake. This is interesting. Cancer, this just got deep. I'll try to go here. But so yeah, there's definitely something that you're not seeing. So that the Seven of Swords for me in this deck in particular is the card of birthright. But it's one that isn't bestowed upon us for whatever reason. It's under safekeeping by the fox. Now maybe we feel like we're missing out, maybe we feel like something is being taken or stolen from us, but it's actually being safeguarded, it's being kept for good reason. This is old. Old. This is an Ouroboros from when the snake still had legs. Which means this predates the events of the Garden of Eden. Because it was at the Garden of Eden, after Adam and Eve were kicked out, that the snake was punished to slither on its belly. Snakes have pelvic bones. It's like, why do they have pelvic bones if they don't have legs? Maybe because they used to have legs. And I remember saying, what is this? The Death card. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it, Cancer. And the Five of Cups at the bottom. Okay. I remember saying that something felt vestigial lately. I don't remember when I said that or where I said it. But a vestigial structure is something that we used to need at one point, but we evolved past it. Or our environment changed so that it was no longer necessary, but we still have it. Kind of sort of like the gallbladder or the appendix. It's like, you can live without it. We're not quite sure what they used to be good for. It's like if we developed one, we probably needed it at some point. And that's why it's like, if you get your appendix removed, you're for the most part fine, right? Because we don't really use it. And we can guess what it used to be for, but it's almost like there's no way to know for sure unless we go back there. So, that ace, now with the birthright energy, again, I feel like the energy of like reserving and hiding and not seeing and therefore not being seen is kind of sort of still there. But if we follow the story, but we're gonna put a twist on it, right? Because it's like, let's say that the snake did encourage Eve to eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and because Eve ate it, Adam wanted to eat it, and because they ate the fruit, they felt shame. So insert shame in the space of that Seven of Swords and the Eight of Swords. That's why we don't share something. That's why we hide something. That's why we don't allow ourselves to be seen, right? There was a point in time in which we were naked in the garden and everything was Gucci. And then all of a sudden one day we're covering ourselves up and God's like, what's up? Like, why are you covering up? And then you're like, well, we're naked. And like, we don't want to be naked. Like, we're ashamed of that. And then God sent them on a journey, basically, outside of the garden for them to discover how basically they didn't have to be ashamed. Like, no one was in the garden judging you anyway. I'm not going to judge you. And so now, and what we look at as a curse was maybe a lesson. They were punished to go out and wander the wilderness and to make their own way in life. Right? And so maybe, too, the snake had its own journey. And the journey of the snake, it's like it had legs, it's cursed to slither in the Garden of Eden, but then it gains wings as the Quetzalcoatl. And so the snake had its own journey to make. But this is before all of that. But with the Ouroboros, it says that everything is connected, everything is accounted for, everything is known. And so with that Ace of Wands, we're starting to want and we're starting to desire things that maybe require us to be in the space of our birthright. Or maybe the things that we want and desire are connected to our birthright. But with that Eight of Swords, it's rejecting change. And we can't claim it if we keep rejecting change. But again, maybe that change is connected to shame in some way, and that's why we're sort of stuck in this Five of Cups energy, needing to transform things. Now, they can be looking at each other, or they can be looking in opposite directions. I think it's both. So this death it's happening. It's an active process. Yeah, because this is the very beginning, and then we're moving this way. And just because we lost something at one point doesn't mean that we're not meant to gain more later. This is something that happens. This is something that happens. They're both major energies. We're not necessarily in control. And some spaces it can be predestined. These two are things that we have more control over. It's more the space that we're in. Seven of Wands could be after the shame, after the loss. This is you claiming victory in a way, establishing this kingdom for yourself that maybe it's like it's built upon shame. Honestly, it feels like there's a minotaur under here. This is Minos' castle. The labyrinth is under there to hide one of his mistakes. He was sent a bull, a white bull. I just saw a black cow. He was sent a white bull, and he was told to sacrifice it. But he didn't want to sacrifice the bull. He kept the bull. And so one of his punishments was the birth of the Minotaur. And to keep the Minotaur a secret, sacrifices had to be made. This is a card of sacrifice. But it can be an energy of like we're not sacrificing the right things, or we're not sacrificing in the right ways to get us out of this energy. It's like we're sacrificing to keep ourselves in the Five of Cups. And again, like I've been there. There are all kind of things I missed out on in life to keep myself from being hurt, or so that I wouldn't experience disappointment. And not pursuing those things hurt. And it's like I'm sacrificing my happiness to stay miserable, to stay in the space I'm in. I'm making all these sacrifices, but nothing's changing. And then I started sacrificing the things that would get me somewhere. I sacrificed like impatience, and I sacrificed I had to like deepen my compassion, again connected to impatience. I have to sacrifice sort of like a selfishness. There's a lot of things that I've had to sacrifice that actively stood in the way of my happiness, which in the moment, especially if I was triggered, I felt justified in. But at the end of the day, it's like if it doesn't heal me, help me, or grow me, then what is it worth to me? And why would I continue to sacrifice to keep myself in a space that I don't want to be in? This is the kingdom that we build on top of the sacrifice to make everything feel okay, to make things feel safer, to make us feel good. But it keeps us in this Five of Cups energy. This happened here. We built this castle upon death. It's like built on a burial ground. Now death is facing this horse. And it's like in some ways we're being given the opportunity to look up. We're being given the opportunity to change. We're being given the opportunity to make things better. But with this death energy, I don't think it's coming in a way that is very... It feels like it's coming in a pretty painful way. It may be coming from a space of tragedy, either real or perceived. And it's like sometimes we have to lose everything to really appreciate anything, or to finally put ourselves in a space. It's like we have to lose all that we can. And then it's when we have nothing left to lose that we finally give ourselves over. That we finally want to heal things. It's like when something happens and all of a sudden it's like people want to apologize, or people want to make their hearts light so that they don't pass with a heavy heart and then get judged for it. And it's like before this comes all the way down, learn to be vulnerable, learn to appreciate, learn to accept, learn to sacrifice the things that keep you in this space, and allow this sort of death to wash over you and transform you into something greater, to experience the other side of this cycle. It's the space of the Wheel of Fortune. Your fortune has you have the opportunity to change your fortune, but it's probably going to require you to let something go. Again, it's that Seven of Swords. It's your birthright. It's being kept for a reason. It's like once you mature enough, then what is yours from before you were born is yours, or you get right to it, right? It's like if someone came into generational wealth and they established in their will the disbursement of money for multiple generations, right? After they become 18, this is their money, and they can do whatever they want with it. Once you become of age, it's your money. But you becoming of age is more like a point in maturity that you reach. It's a spiritual age, not a physical age, right? We can get older and older. We can be 100, but still be mentally, emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually like 10 or 15. Never really get out of our rebellious years. Never really make it through puberty. Also with the Seven of Wands, it's an energy of like the victory is already won. This is already established. But again, for you to claim it, you have to go through this process of maturation. You have to sacrifice the things that you need to get you where you want to be, instead of sacrificing the things that you want to keep what you don't want. Seven of Wands, the house of self, becomes a palace of unending beauty and possibilities. The innocent has traveled from the naivety of birth along the rivers and roads of time. The journey has been a long one, with many detours and disappointments. Many lessons were learned, and now the innocent has arrived at the road where the goal is in view, the light at the end of the long, dark night of work. Behind, now, are the many challenges, the hills and valleys of tears and labor. One has reached the tower of attainment in the garden of abundance. The innocent is weary, tired from the long travail. This is a card of service and sacrifice. The seeker is one devoted to reaching truth, dedicated to the betterment of all, giving freely of themselves. The eyes of intuition are focused upon the mission and do not deviate through the trials that accompany the seeker along the way. Pain and loneliness are often the seeker's only companions, yet the eyes look beyond the physical discomfort. They manifest the selfless spirit in the physical world as creativity flows, filling the waking reality in the service of others. In a reading, it says a dedicated, selfless person, inner wisdom and sight leading to the manifestation of good deeds on the physical plane, professional success, a philanthropist, humanitarian, and environmental issues are championed. And I don't read the inner reading for a lot, but I read it for you. I feel like that's a lot of confirmation of what I was talking about. But the death card is here. It feels like you're in the process of becoming everything that talked about. You're in the process of reaching the point that it talked about. You're in the process of sacrificing that which needs to be sacrificed and making room for that which needs to be made room for to get you there. And again, it's like this is the fulfillment of something old. And maybe in some ways you feel like you're being punished, maybe unfairly. But it's like you lose your legs to gain your wings. After you gain wings, you're probably going to fly anyway. Now, birds, they hop around sometimes. But when they really want to move, they fly. And if you want to walk, you can just hover close to the ground and pretend like you're walking or something, right? You can do that if you really want to walk. It may not be walking, but you can fly. It's something that's always been for you. But you distance yourself from it for some reason. Probably for good reason. It feels like there's a lot of pain here that isn't spoken about. I mean, the Five of Cups is here. It feels like maybe you've always experienced the darker in life. Or you fixate and focus more on the disappointment. Maybe you haven't experienced much light, or you just don't focus on the light that you have experienced. And because of that, you remain in the darkness. But it's like, would you sacrifice that to turn the wheel into the light? I'm curious what's behind this Five of Cups. It's the Moon card. So, because I was going to turn the Five of Cups in reverse, so the sun is at the top, or the light is at the top of the card. Hold on, wait. There we go. Or the light is at the bottom of the card. So it's like the light filters in and it settles at the bottom instead of the dark settling at the bottom. But the moon is behind that. I feel like the moon is associated, like this is a Piscean card, but the moon itself is associated with Cancer. So again, it's that energy of something that's, it feels like it should be yours, but it's not. It's somebody else's. The moon is Pisces. But in return, you get the Chariot. You get forward movement. You get resolution. It's like, since the moon is your energy primarily, you already know how to operate within it. So you can put the moon and the sun together and make that forward movement. That is naturally yours. That's why you're the Chariot. Pisces then comes into that space later. So now they sort of get stuck in the moon. And it's like, well, we took a picture of the energy when Pisces came into the moon. Cancer had already resolved the moon, and now they're moving forward. Scorpio is still in death. It hasn't even made it to the moon yet. Like, that's sort of the transit of the water signs into the moon. First it was Cancer, then it was Pisces, Scorpio was next. And so again, what that requires is for you to sort of resolve all of that and to contextualize it in a way to sacrifice what needs to be sacrificed, to make yourself open for what you need to receive to move forward. And the central focus of the Seven of Wands card is the Tower. But this feels like a good tower. All towers, in a way, can be good. This feels like the motor court. Like, if there's a long driveway, this feels like the long driveway up to this palace. And either you come from the left or either you come... Oh my gosh. This is you resolving both the light and the dark. Resolving the left and the right, meeting in the middle, and then moving forward in a unified singular direction. And then we have the Dream Carrier, which is Empress energy, which is that creativity, which is that abundance, which is that nurturing mother energy. That Cancer is, you know, we call Cancer the mother. It's the mother of the zodiac. All this major energy here. But you have the Seven of Wands and the Five of Cups. Will you stick to everything that you've grown to know in order to keep yourself safe and protected from that which would make you the happiest, from that which would fulfill you the most? The 7 is larger than the 5. And why is 5 afraid of 7? Because 7 ain't 9. Forget 6. 5 is scared too. 5 was there. Don't let it hold you back. Don't. I feel like you have the opportunity to stop living life with regret. I was going to say don't pass with regret. But don't even carry regret long enough for that even to be a thing. And we can go at any moment. That's life. I just hope you choose the better. The better has always been for you. It just came in a very roundabout way. Or it's coming in a roundabout way. Ooh, Cancer, that was kind of heavy. I hope y'all have a good whatever, whenever, and I hope you're acting in alignment to make that what you wish to experience your reality. And it's not always easy, but we're always worth it. And if you truly believed you were worth it, you would do what you need to do. So, now we're moving to Libra. Ooh, some of these are heavy. Libra, you're starting at 46-36. And then we'll let Siri decide who the last is. Libra, Cardinal Air with the Lovers at the cut. What? Ooh, girl. She can do it. I feel like we caught the Lovers before they got all the way down and dirty. And then there's the 5 behind it. 5 and 6. Libra, this is a little bit of fear. And then the Ace of Swords, this is you recognizing some of the hang-ups that you may have around intimacy. Because it's like in that Lovers card, they want to be intimate, but she can't bring herself to press. I say her. Well, her hair is... She got like boobs, I think. I think that's coded as a boob. One energy wants to press their body up against the other one, but for some reason can't bring themselves to do it. There's some internal conflict here that is rooted in the emotions somewhere, I feel, because this is over water. And then there's the Ace of Swords, which is knowing sort of what's going on. Right? It may be an uncomfortable knowing, but once you work through it, then it'll help resolve those intimacy issues. And it'll put you in a space to claim what it is that you desire the most. Ooh, the 9 of Swords, girl. Yeah, see, look at her. She reminds me of Little Red Riding Hood, but it's the movie version with what's her name? It might have been Amanda Seyfried. I think that's her name. Where she was the wolf. And maybe that's why she fears intimacy, because she doesn't want to wolf out on her partner. Or whatever, right? So for Libra, I feel like being patient with you, Libra. So we'll keep going until a card comes out or flips over or makes itself known. Have you experienced patience, Libra? Have you ever experienced someone giving you the time to be yourself fully, or giving you the opportunity to work through whatever it is that you need to work through within self without running away or abandoning you? In the space of this, I can do that for you. So I'm just going to keep going until something comes out or makes itself known. There we go. And it's the Ace of Cups. I don't know if you fully experienced that, but it feels like you're wanting to. It also feels like in some ways that would be something that you're willing to do for someone else. The Ace of Cups and the 10 of Cups. Low key, Libra, y'all come out with some real beautiful energy most of the time I read for y'all. It's gorgeous. I'm just gonna sit here and see. This is what happens when you can give somebody patience, when you give them the space to open up, to be vulnerable. And sometimes it's like we can say that, but we have to prove it too. And there are times in my own life where I wish, or from the space now, I wish I could have maybe been a little bit more patient, been a little bit more understanding. But at the same time, there are things that I need to do for myself. And I have to give myself the same patience and understanding and space when I need it. And I can't subject myself to anything that I wouldn't subject anyone else to or want someone to be subjected to. And so that's sort of the challenge, I guess, when it comes to really navigating relationships. It feels like it doesn't read here, but it feels like there's a little bit of, it's not a blockage emotionally. And look, there's the Mother of Swords, Libra. That's y'all. Wait, Cardinal Air come through, and then the Death card is still at the bottom from the last one. The Mother of Swords, she is who she is because that's how she's learned to be. But I think it's also important that because that's a little bit of the protectedness I was feeling. She can be a little cold sometimes because she's not going to allow herself to be taken advantage of. But if the space itself is changing, and then here are the two birds here, one of them is the Death card, the other one is the Queen of Swords, the Owl, both represented as herons, which is the Temperance card in this deck. Temperance speaks of patience and balance. There's an internal balancing, and then here's the scales on this side of the Ten of Cups. And look, there's the Ouroboros, so you got 10-10, the Wheel of Fortune, and this Ten of Cups. Things are definitely changing in this direction. But you also have to move in this direction. Libra, you're the scales, so you can probably figure out more than anyone that the energy that you receive is the energy that you give to yourself. So when I asked you, has anyone ever been patient with you? Has anyone ever given you the time or the space to explore yourself and to be vulnerable and open? Have you ever done that for yourself? Do you allow yourself the chance and opportunity to delve into your own emotions? We see the scales on one side, and there's something on this side that I can never quite piece together. And this always feels like a stone egg to me. And it's like, well, you can't hatch a stone egg. Like, you can't hatch a rock, but maybe you can. Like, what do I know? There are all kinds of creatures and people. 9 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Wish fulfillment as I turn this over, because I don't want to see. Oh, I almost took those. One of those looked like the 9 of Swords, which is Dark Visions. 9 of Swords with that Queen of Swords, it's like that's when we can sort of get stuck in old patterns. And because of that, we enter every situation with a certain perspective already in mind. So we don't, especially with that Queen of Swords energy, we don't allow for anything else to happen. And so if you haven't already experienced this gorgeousness and this beauty in the Ten of Cups and the Ace of Cups, then it's like in some ways you prevent yourself from experiencing it in the future. In the ways of protection and self-preservation. But also there's the question of, well, have you ever given it to yourself? If you received it, would you even know what it looks like? If you were in the space of getting it, would you even know? Or would you color it as something else because that's what you've experienced? And it's like, just because it happens doesn't mean it's too good to be true. It just hasn't happened to you yet. 6 of Wands. Come through victory in the space of transformation. I've seen the 5 of Wands a few times. In this deck, it's a lack of focus. Maybe it's hard for you to focus on what it is that you truly want because, again, you haven't experienced it yet. Maybe you've convinced yourself that you'll never experience it. So, again, when you do get within the realm of it, you sort of think that there's something wrong, or you judge it to be something else. And that's the tricky thing about Libra. I don't know if Libra is necessarily, and it may be the air in Libra. I don't know if Libra is necessarily suited for naturally balancing out new things. Because as people, we use our experiences to build our world around us in thought, form, and even deed. And so, a lot of times when we come into a space of balance, we balance things in ways that more reflect the past, rather than balancing things in a more absolute way, like justice or temperance. We do it in a relative way with that Queen of Swords, like Two of Pentacles, Two of Swords energy. So it's like, shift the scale to what you want to experience rather than what you've been experiencing. And then maybe you'll see the opportunities for this Ten of Cups that lie in wait all around you. Because the Ace of, the Lovers and the Four of Pentacles. I'm going to do one more because those came out together. I feel like these two came out recently. Maybe not. But this is what's possible. It's time for you to balance and center your scale on what you want. Align yourself to what you want. Make sure that your side of the scale is weighted properly to hold up to what it is that you want, and then you'll begin to receive it. So let's get one more card. Again, Libra, I'm letting the cards fall. This is symbolic of just giving you the opportunity to speak. But I am going to get one more. Y'all already get an extra card, so I'm not going to be like 3 more and then... Because I feel like there's something else that's here. There we go. And it's the Magician. Bottom of the deck is the Daughter of Cups. Ace of Cups, Ten of Cups, Daughter of Cups. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy. Now, people say that Libra is the wateriest air sign. People say that Libra is emotionally intelligent. Now, through all of the Libras that I've known, maybe it's because I'm a Pisces, but I don't see it. Through the Libras that I've personally interacted with, again, maybe it's because I'm a Pisces and I got a lot of feelings, but I don't see it. But I think it's like maybe they have that understanding, but it doesn't necessarily come out in a watery way, right? So since I'm a Pisces, I'm expecting for water to be returned with water. And water isn't necessarily every Libra's default. And so with one of my Libran friends, I've recently been able to more easily recognize that, sometimes he returns my water with air. It feels like he's learning to return my water with earth, which isn't quite water, but it works. And by that I mean, like, before it would feel like he wouldn't really listen to me fully. He was always trying to, like, troubleshoot the problem or solve the problem before he even listened to the problem. It felt like he wasn't listening. And now it's like he's gotten better at listening. And he'll try to he still offers solutions to problems. I think that's one of the ways that he expresses care, honestly. He's like, you're someone that I care about, you have a problem, let me help you fix it, right? But he'll listen more. And so instead of it being like purely sort of logical, now it's more like it's more tailored to me a lot of times. I can tell that he actually cares and he gives the time to listen. It's still pretty like analytical, which is why it's not necessarily fully water. But also one of the reasons why I love talking to him is because sometimes I don't need water. I don't need water. I need something that's either airy or earthy. I don't need water. I don't need fire. I need either air or earth. And if I'm in an emotional space, I need earth. If I'm not as deep into my emotions, I appreciate air. And so he's learning to sort of balance that air and earth for me, which led to a deepening of our relationship. but also like it's required things of me to even be able to recognize that and to see it and to appreciate it, to not try to ask things from him that he isn't necessarily, I don't want to say that he's not equipped to give me, but one of the things again that I appreciate most about bringing a problem or issue to him is that I get a solution or I get something to work with. I'm learning to work with it and to suit that solution more to me. And I'm also learning to appreciate it in a way that I couldn't before when I was so hurt and too busy focused on the hurt and not wanting to see a solution. I was like, you're not listening to me. You're not listening to me. You're just trying to solve my problems. You're not listening to me. And it's like, well, hey, I care enough about you to give you a solution. Something like, hello. And so the last card is the Magician, and it's crossing the Lovers more so than the Four of Pentacles. So I'm kind of sort of like, so it's almost like these are two separate energies that are bridged by the Lovers. That's how I'm going to do this. 1 second. Y'all can hear my little Snapchat bubbles popping off. So here we have victory in the past. This is an elevation out of darkness. This is a growth. This is a healing. This is a maturation within you. This is your next phase. You have successfully entered your next phase. So when I ask that question of have you ever experienced patience or something, and then I said have you learned to give it to yourself, maybe you have learned to give it to yourself or you have experienced it, either or. And it feels like now you're in the process of either giving that same patience and care and attention and understanding to yourself or giving it to someone else. You're in the space of establishing the reciprocity and the receptivity of the scale, how one moves in correspondence with the other. And if a weight is dropped on either side, the other side will pretty much immediately move. Now with the Four of Pentacles and the Lovers, this could be a little bit of a reserved space, maybe more because of the experiences you've had in the past, right? Maybe you had a lot of not great relationships or not great friendships, or you didn't experience the things that would make you feel safe in a relationship, that will make you feel understood and loved in a relationship. And you've come to the space of being able to give it to yourself, or you've learned to begin to recognize it. But when it comes to other dynamics, it's like you're struggling to feel the same. And you may be struggling because you're holding too tightly to what you've already experienced and you're not opening yourself up to experience the new, right? Again, that's that Queen of Swords, when she can kind of sort of be her own biggest enemy sometimes. And then the Magician is here. The Magician is the space of manifestation and creation. But more than that, the Magician is utilizing all of the tools at your disposal in a way that will bring a desired result. And I feel like that is what's blocking the Lovers more so than it was blocking the Four of Pentacles. I feel like you're really good at twisting things, seeing things, balancing the scales in a way that will keep everything nice and neatly sort of separate, but not too far apart. It's like not too close, not too far, very Libra. But with the Ace of Cups and the Ten of Cups and this Daughter of Cups, maybe there are certain things that you want to bring closer. And it's navigating that closeness. It's this energy of like rebalancing. It's like there's a Temperance energy here. Again, we see the two herons here. Because the Magician is utilizing all of the tools at your disposal to get a desired result. Temperance is about proportions. It's about fine-tuned proportions. And so maybe it's like, maybe you run at a 2-2-2-2 sort of frequency, 2 parts air, 2 parts water, 2 parts fire, 2 parts earth, which leaves you in a lot of dichotomy. We see the 2-2 here, These two are connected to those two. In a card, we can only, show certain dimensions. So there's a coin that comes above the card, a coin that goes under the card for that realm of two. And then in the fourth dimension, there are also two pentacles. Each one of these is actually two pentacles, and we keep everything sort of balanced, but it keeps everything fixed. Things can't really grow with that much rigidity, right? And so that's why there's a temperance energy coming here, because maybe instead of that, it's like you do a 4-3-2-1. Like in my own chart, I have 4 water, 3 earth, 2 air, and 1 fire. Now, I have more fire that's locked behind Chiron in my north node. So that's fire that I have access to that requires some growth and uncomfortability on my part and healing, right? And then I have more air in my south node. And then I have another earth placement that is my rising. So I can have a 4-4-3-3. 4 water, 4 earth, 3 air, and 3 fire. After I do the healing and the growth, and I'm in the space of acting in my alignment towards what I'm going towards, and also having a more healthy relationship with where I've come from. And so it's pretty much balanced across the board for me, but still focused more on the earth and the water, which is the care and the nurture, rather than, the ideas and the expression. Your proportions are probably different. But this is you proportioning or reproportionizing your tools in a way that's going to give you a different result, right? The tools are the same, but the application is different. And maybe that's where you're experiencing a little bit of a challenge, because in your mind, maybe it's like, okay, well, now I want something new. I need a different set of tools or something. And it's like, no, you use the same tools, but now you use them in a way that will open you up in healthy spaces rather than keep yourself closed in those same potentially healthy spaces, but from interacting in a way that is like prime health, right? And so finally, after all that talking, I already drank all my water. I opened to the Ace of Swords, but we're going to the Ace of Cups. My throat's starting to get dry. My throat's so dry. I got some iced coffee in the fridge. I guess I could drink. Ace of Cups. Enfolded in the wings of the great crane, communicator and protector of eternal connections, the lovers rest cushioned by the waters of the unconscious, which allow the communication to flow into and between them, to unite them in love. One's vision of contentment and peace is matched by reality. Beyond eternal love, this card is about the ultimate potential of human romantic love on the way to the more mystical divine love. The crane is a holy or mythical creature, symbolizing good fortune and longevity. Mythology places it as a protector, one who guards all during sleep. It is said to keep watch over the sleeping flock, holding a store in its claw in order to stay awake. Thus does the crane enfold and protect the dreamers, that the messages of dream arrive safely into consciousness. Flowers fill the space, roses representing the heart and love. The heavenly star shines on them, for their love is unending. True love knows no boundaries. A relationship, the joining of the pair of opposites, is made in heaven, two souls united beyond time and space. This represents a relationship that does not end with physical death. If we have lost a partner, this is also an indication that there is no real loss, but temporary separation. If no partner exists, one shall show up or is already on the doorstep. Honestly, it could exist. Especially with the Daughter of Cups here. But there's a heavy, on the doorstep energy. So, even if you do have a partner, it feels like there's some learning to, again, rebalance things here to deepen the connection. This is beautiful, Libra. More often than not, your energy is gorgeous. Honestly. This feels like a lot of soft work. Because, again, with the Six of Wands here, you've already sort of triumphed over your darkness. But here you're just you're learning to open up in spaces. You're learning to be vulnerable. Maybe again, like you're waiting to experience a place where it's safe to really help you take that even further. But at the same time, your mind is one of the things. It's one of the tools at the magician's disposal. So if you carry around an attitude with that Queen of Swords, or you carry around an expectation that you won't find someone who you can fully be yourself with, that you are the only person that you have or will ever have, then that will continue to be true. If you continue walking around with the mindset that no one gets you, no one understands you, no one could ever, blah, 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 no one could ever love me the way I love me, so I'm going to love me and reject everybody else, then that will continue to be true. Because again, your mind is one of the tools that is creating your reality right now. And like to embrace like this, I don't know how much Four of Pentacles energy, like the Four of Pentacles can really be something that will block this. That closeness and vulnerability with the Ace of Cups. So that's what I got for you, Libra. I hope you have a good whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope you allow things to unfold beautifully. Sorry. Oh, this is funny. She's not a Libra, but she's dating one. So one of my friends posted a picture with geese, and I was like, "Oh, you're so brave for getting this close to the geese." Oh, oh my gosh, they were literally Canadian geese. Literally, I can show you the picture. Literally geese, and it was two of them, and a little. Oh, I'll share the video. Maybe I won't though, because her name is in it, and I ain't necessarily trying to put her out there like that, but. It was two geese and a little baby chick, and they were all like, they were cute and pecking in the grass for whatever they eat, right? And I was like, oh, you're so brave for getting this close. Hopefully the little baby goose doesn't grow up into a jerk. And she said I was a healthy 10 feet away and just zoomed in with my phone. And I feel like that's the same energy here, especially with this Four of Pentacles and the Lovers. It's trying to be a healthy distance away, but still trying to experience this closeness. But that healthy distance, like whatever the reason is for that distance, it's actively blocking the deepening of this connection here. And again, like when we go back to healthy boundaries are sort of relative. In the spaces where we can get closer, in the spaces where it's safe to love, boundaries look different. So there are some people that are some situations that we keep 10 feet away. Some people in situations that we keep like 2 feet away, and some at the max that we get like 5 inches away from. Now, when you're at the max 5 inches away from someone, that doesn't mean that there's not physical space. That doesn't mean that you're like always with that person. But it's just like the communication, the vulnerability, the openness, the honesty is there. And again, with the relativity of healthy boundaries, if there's someone that's supposed to be 2 feet away from you and you keep them at 10 feet, that's not a healthy boundary. You're overly protecting yourself, and you're shielding yourself from something that is beautiful and gorgeous and that is meant to grow you in some way, or something that's meant to be experienced more. If there's something, I think a lot of times we think of healthy boundaries, we think of like 5-inch, 2 feet situations that need to either be 2 feet or 10 feet, but we don't look at the things that we need to bring closer to us. It's a healthy boundary. Healthy in both ways. But establishing, oh, look at that, Sun and Seven of Wands energy. With the 6 there. And the Tower, 7769. No, that's a 1. 19, 10, 1. 7761. Oh, I just saw the 2 of Cups, 9 of Swords. Alright, hey Siri, pick a number between 1 and 12.
A random number between 1 and 12 is 11.
11, we already did Aquarius. Hey Siri, pick a number between 1 and 12. Oh, come on, Siri. We're going to keep playing this game now. And we've already done Capricorn, that's why I'm not doing Capricorn. Check out the last video. Hey Siri, choose a number between 1 and 12.
A random number between 1 and 12 is 6.
6 is Virgo. Virgo was first last time. Now I could say between 1 and 9 because I've already done 10, 11, and 12. I could say between 2 and 9 because I've already done 1, 10, 11, and 12, but that's not how this works. Consistency. Hey Siri, choose a number between 1 and 12.
A random number between 1 and 12 is 1.
Hey Siri, choose a number between 1 and 12.
A random number
There we
between
go.
1 and 12 is 9.
Sagittarius, and as soon as I saw 9, y'all cards came out. So, bottom of the deck is the 3 of Pentacles for Saggies. This is giving me heavy Cinderella vibes. Cinderella going to the tree for something. Her mother's spirit is in the tree. Quiver and shiver, little tree. Silver and gold throw down on me. I'm off to get my wish. Now my throat is dry. I could do that better, but it's fine. I'm actually Libra. Libra. Just did Libra. Sagittarius. We're gonna enter this with a little bit of intrigue because I'm feeling it today. So we're gonna get all your other cards. 7 of Swords and the Mother of Cups at the bottom. Sagittarius, what's that about? Ooh, 10 of Swords, 7 of Swords. So, with the Mother of Swords and the 7 of Swords, and then the 10 of Swords and the 7 of Swords, it feels like Sagittarius is holding back in some way that is hurting Sagittarius. Honestly. And then the High Priestess with the 10 of Swords. That feels like things are going to get even worse. That's a little bit of an energy of warning comes before destruction. And then both of these are face down. Now, I'm not going to say that this is some shady energy, Sagittarius. But with the 3 of Pentacles here, if you enter a space with hidden intentions, then don't be surprised if you manifest more of the same. With the 7 of Swords and the Mother of Cups, maybe it's like, again, take it if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. Maybe Sagittarius and its Mother of Cups energy thinks that it's getting over on someone. Because Sagittarius has more knowledge and has more insight. And they keep certain things hidden with the 7 of Swords. But then they hit a 10 of Swords. And they're like, whoa, what's happening? What's happening is the High Priestess was looking at you while you thought you had the upper hand on somebody else. The 3 of Pentacles is a card of cooperation. It's a card of if you don't put into it, you don't get anything out of it. If you put seedy and questionable into it, then you're going to get seedy and questionable out of it. I talked about that recently. It was this energy that was like, it's like a lot of energy that would take advantage of people, but someone takes advantage of you before you can take advantage of them. And so you feel a certain type of way. But in reality, if the shoe was on the other foot, you would have done the same to them. And so there is no justice in that situation. Justice isn't, oh, but they did it first, so therefore I should be rewarded or they should be punished. If you would do the same, no. Because it's like, I mean, if the shoe is on the other foot, you would do the same. Maybe that is justice. That is balance. What you would do to someone else is done to you. And you don't like it. Maybe you're learning that, hey, it reminds me of that one episode of Family Guy with the dude who was going to like stab Peter or something, and then he stabbed himself. He was like, ow, this hurts. Is this what I've been doing to people? It's like, yo, girl, that's what you've been doing to people. This is a lot, but we're going to take it. 3 of Swords, 3 of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck is the Father of Cups. Oh, Sagittarius. 3 of Swords, 7 of Pentacles, Daughter of Cups, Son of Cups, the Chariot, Son of Wands. So we have the daughter and the Son of Cups. The mother is absent here, but somebody tried to take out the mother, right? With that 7 of Swords. Or maybe somebody didn't try to take it out. Maybe that element, maybe the care and the nurture and the love of the Mother of Cups was missing. And that caused some kind of pain with the 10 of Swords. And with the High Priestess, it's like there is a way out of that pain, but perpetuating it further isn't the solution. If you continue to perpetuate it further, you're just going to get more of the same. Right? And that's kind of sort of here. Here's the heartbreak from maybe an absence. Here's the way that we sort of deal with it. It cultivates something within us. Here is how we develop in the Suit of Cups. We go from the daughter to the son. And then with the Chariot, we move forward to Wands. The element, the Suit of Cups is not complete here. Emotionally, spiritually, in the space of connection, things are stunted. It stopped at the sun, and it met Son of Wands energy. So this is that energy of like meeting these not fully matured energies, but those energies are meeting you where you are or where you were. With the Chariot, they're in balance. The light and the dark in balance create forward movement. Here's the Son of Cups, here's the Son of Wands. In balance, they carry out maybe these karmic cycles. And there are ways in which you contribute to them with the Three of Pentacles. Again, if you're coming in with a certain energy and you get more of that energy, don't be surprised. Now, the Father of Cups feels like there's an energy that wasn't what you were missing, but it tried to take that place, right? So you could have been missing a father and a mother tried to come in. You could have been missing a mother and a father tried to step in. You could have been missing guidance in the parental sphere and someone else tried to come in. You could have been missing a space where you can be vulnerable and open and someone else tried to come in. It's like sometimes we don't experience romantic love, but we experience platonic love, but we don't receive the depths of the love that platonic love has to offer us because we demand that it come from romantic love that we never got. And so we're walking around feeling unloved when we got familial love, we got platonic love, we had plenty of spaces where we were shown that we were valued and cared for. But since it didn't come from a partner with a label on it, we walk around with that wound. And that wound festers within us. And now it's like, we're sort of giving it to anybody who expresses interest. All of the interest, it's like it's purely sexual, but we're wanting something more emotional. And since it's a little bit of attention, the Son of Wands knows how to make you feel real nice until it gets what it wants from you and then it moves on. With this Chariot, we give in because, again, we're stunted here emotionally. And through habits of the past, established with the Three of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles, that's what we sort of carry out. Now, the 3 plus the 7 is the 10 of Pentacles. But it's like these 3 swords cancel out those 3 Pentacles. These 3 swords nail down those 3 Pentacles and keep us from being able to integrate that into the 7 to actually get the 10. Because we never actually handle, address, or heal what the source of this is. So maybe it's not as malicious as that little bit that came out. Right? But I feel like it's sort of like it's unintentionally malicious because we sort of set ourselves up to be hurt by people who don't really care about us. But since they give us attention and it's in that romantic space, it's in the arena where we want it, we take it. Even if it isn't really what it advertises itself to be. Now, Mayat and the Two of Cups came out. This is Justice and the Two of Cups. Both of these cards feature a moon. Both of these happen in the same space, which is water. But this Justice is above the water. And then in the Two of Cups card, we see the one on the horse in the back. It's a little messed up. But it's like when we're children, or whenever we don't have the emotional, mental, spiritual capacity to fully comprehend and grasp something, we tend to go to a space of hurt or feeling not deserving. So maybe this was us. And it's in the shadow. The shadow in the shadow. You can barely see it now, but it's right here. It's in the shadow of the Father of Cups. Come on, where is it? When we don't have the capacity to understand something, our brain comes up with a reason. Oh my gosh, I did not timestamp this for you, Sagittarius. So I'm going to have to watch this back and get that timestamp. I know it was after 114. I'll say like 116 for now. I just looked over at my timestamps and I saw Libra. And I'm like, whoa, where's Sagittarius? So we had cardinal, mutable. I feel like Sagittarius, it's mutable fire. So I feel like Sagittarius would see itself as a cardinal energy. I feel like Sagittarius can also be an energy that's really good at being like blunt with other people and pointing out what other people sort of don't see or what they need to see. But Sagittarius may not necessarily do it for themselves, because Sagittarius can also be an energy that thinks it knows it all. And because it knows everything, it's not open to receive anything unless it agrees with what it already knows to be true. That's more the shadow side of Sagittarius. But again, Sagittarius, they're convinced that they can see the truth in anything, girl. And it's maybe it's that's not serving you. Because nothing down here is major. Nothing down. Well, the Chariot is here, but the Chariot, especially in this context, I wouldn't consider as. It's not fully matured. We have the Sun, 2 sons and a daughter, and then the Chariot. The Chariot is just an energy that moves forward things that are aligned. Right now, the Son of Cups and the Son of Wands are aligned, so this Chariot has the energy of a sun. Right? If this were 2 kings or 2 queens, or a king and a queen that were aligned, then this Chariot would have that mature energy, because it pushes forward. Anytime 2 things come into a space with a common goal in mind, it pushes them forward. Even if they're coming from different angles, from different viewpoints, with different things that they want. They want to be with each other. One wants to be with them and maybe a more of a, oh, it's like passionate, it's hot, and it's fun. The other one wants to be with this one in a more of a connected sense. There's a disconnect here, but for whatever reason, they want each other, and it moves together until it falls apart. Because they're coming from different angles. They can both be also coming from a space of hurt, coming from a space of pain, and whatever the 7 of Pentacles is, that how they learn to cope with it, right? Both of them can be emotionally immature or spiritually not the most developed with this Daughter of Cups energy, but they meet each other here. Suns, Knights are about action. They put the action in. They might put in a lot of action, but they don't get that fulfillment. Justice gives whatever it is that we put into it, like the Chariot. It reciprocates. The 2 of Cups is here, but this 2 of Cups, it has the couple on the horse, and then it has the one in the shadow by itself in the back. The Father of Cups and the 3 of Pentacles, again, it carries this energy of like something in your environment, something in your experience was giving you what you needed, but since it didn't come from where you wanted it to come from, you weren't able to accept it in a way. You walked around with the pain, not seeing how it was given to you in the background the whole time. You were given an opportunity to be in this 2 of Cups energy, couple on a horse, and to move forward, and to get justice in that regard. But instead, you chose a perspective that left you in the shadows, and so justice will give you more shadowy energy, or has given you more shadowy energy. Justice isn't going to give you anything more than what you put in. The Chariot, you both aligned in Sun energy, in Night energy. So it moves forward in Night energy. And these aren't even Sons of Pentacles. Neither one of these really finished. The Knight of Wands will get bored. The Son of Cups will be disillusioned. And then their interest will fade. Son of Cups will be like, oh, like, reality isn't living up to the fantasy that I built up. Son of Wands can be like, oh, I've gotten that enough. I want to experience something new. Or like, yeah, it's fun, but that's all it is. Like, it's only fun. Like, I'm not actually trying to turn this into a thing here, right? It's like, ooh, why are you getting so serious? Like, I like you because you're fun. I like us because like we're not serious. Like, I got another person at home if I wanted to be serious, and you're like, what? I'm the side piece, and it's like, yeah, hello. All this main, you thought you was the main dish. You may not even be the main side. I know it sounds a little whatever, but honestly, that could be the case. And again, it's because you have adapted to being in the absence of whatever was being provided to you, but again, it wasn't coming in a way that you wanted it. It's from that place of absence that you continue sort of moving forward, that you grew and developed with the 7 of Pentacles. Emotionally stunted in the area of connection, although it feels like that connection was all around you. The love was all around you. Again, you could have chosen this Two of Cups, two on a horse perspective, but it's feeling like you chose the single one. And the Mayat is giving you more of what you lined up to. It's giving you more of what you put out. If you're not fully matured, then the universe isn't going to give you something that's fully matured. But it will give you opportunities to mature into something that is fully matured. Sometimes we do get something that is more mature than we are. And we can take that opportunity to grow. Or we can stay stuck where we are, sabotage it, and then lose it. And then maybe that can buy into the stories of pain that we already feel, and so, we go on hurting even more. I guess I'll read both of these. The Two of Cups first, and then the Justice card. Where are the cups? Here's the Eight of Cups. Okay, found the cups. The innocent plunges straight into the deep waters of fantasy, Son of Cups, in search of the perfect mate, lover, other. The seduction of the make-believe is too powerful for the inexperience of the innocent. There is no balance when one falls off the jed pillar of stability into the waters of dream. For while the experienced wise one can navigate, swim, and distinguish between fantasy and reality, the innocent merely dives into the waters completely unprepared, riding the horse which is more suitable for land than for sea. Unfortunately, the innocent has no idea of his folly. He is the true fool, listening merely to the stirrings of the irrational, the drive of unbridled passions, the urge of immaturity and inexperience. Thus he holds securely the uncontrolled desires, riding upon the frothy illusions of success as he gallops at full speed on his non-productive journey. In the distance, off on solid ground, is the white horse and a lonely rider. The other, the perfect one, has not yet found true love. The innocent remains without the capability, without the capability to distinguish between childish desires and true love. It is a time of painful growth, of the despair of rejection, and the sorrow of experiencing unrequited love. Only when the innocent grows in maturity and moves beyond infantile fantasies can he find the right fit. The perfect match, the true love. He needs time to cultivate wisdom and experience. But all he's been cultivating is pain from the absence of something that was provided in a way that he didn't think was there. But from the space of cultivated pain, he dives more and more and more into the fantasy of what he wanted. It's that song, it's what? You sit there in your heartache, waiting on some beautiful boy to save you from your old ways. It's like you sit there waiting for something that you've been fantasizing about. And when something comes, you project that fantasy onto it in a way that it's not that. Now we need to cultivate wisdom. Cultivate wisdom from pain. Or cultivate wisdom. The wisdom will show you, I was already getting what I wanted in other spaces. So even though I may not know what that feels like in a romantic sense, even though I may not know what that feels like in a parental sense, even though I may not know what that feels like in a platonic sense, even though I may not know what that feels like in a spiritual sense, I know what that feels like in other spaces. And if this doesn't feel like what those feel like on some level, then I know that that's not it. What you need, you already have. You've already gotten. The Father of Cups has been there the whole time. And again, justice it's not gonna give you more than you put into it. And in this deck, justice is an 8 instead of the 11. So it's the karmic number now. The number 8 to me feels karmic. It's infinite. It's a loop. It's a cycle. You may experience different sides of it, but it's always the same. It's stuck in those cycles. But again, it's like you never give more You never want more. You never expect more. You just keep you keep following the same patterns, and so you keep getting more of the same. Mayat rises as a dream image from the depths of the unconscious to manifest the ancient Egyptian principle of truth, justice, honor, morality, and ethics. To the Ancient One, Mayat represents the highest standard of universal action, the supreme standard which regulated not only the behavior of humans, but of all deities, the heavens, and the manifest upon the earth. It was a higher virtue which set into motion the harmony of the universe. All was governed by Mayat. Universal motion depended upon it that chaos was not allowed to rule. So important was the principle of Mayat that all ancient Egyptians sought to be grounded in Mayat in all their actions. They believed that their heart was the recorder of all their deeds, and that at the end of their life, entry into the great Duat, the land of everlasting light, was based upon their heart bearing the purity of their lifetime. Their heart needed to be as pure as Mayat. Thus was the heart measured in the hall of justice, placed upon the scales that it be as light as the feather of Mayat. A heart declared to be true was considered true of voice and granted eternal life with the gods. Here is a heart that's pierced, bleeding, and wrapped up in everything that it experienced in that red thread of fate. Fated to experience it, maybe. Fated to be stuck there, no. Fated to make the home there, no. Is that the human thing to do? Yeah, because it's what we've experienced, and we can only form opinions mostly based on what we've experienced. This is a heart that's too heavy. And it feels again like a heart that in some ways refuses to heal. But again, here's in that Two of Cups energy, it's like we may think that we're the wise one and going after that, but we're not. You can't, Sagittarius, shadowy side Sagittarius, and all that it knows, you won't be able to convince it of anything else. Anything that it sees outside of what it already knows to be true or what it already believes to be true, it will deem an outlier and it will cast it aside. But in reality, it only takes one instance to prove something false. To prove that something is not universal, it only needs to be disproved one time. And you can't go, yeah, but that, and but this, and but whatever. It's like, no. It doesn't hold up universally. This is Mayat. This is absolute justice. This is true justice. This is universal justice. If there is any instance where something doesn't hold up, it's deemed invalid. Globally. Maybe locally it's true. There are local truths, yeah. But this is a more absolute energy. Universal energies are more absolute. And a lot of times we can get stuck at, well, I'm relatively better than everybody else. Like, I'm not that bad. I know I've been down here acting a mess, but, I'm not doing everything that was done to me. And it's not fair that I'm the only one that experiences this pain. Shouldn't somebody else know how I feel? Like, I'm only this bad. I'm only the villain because somebody else was the villain. And it's like, is that locally true? Sure. But on a more global and absolute scale where your heart is weighed at the end of your lifetime, will that hold up in the court of absolute justice? No. That gets thrown out immediately. If you want more, do more, right? The dream card Mayat is one grounded in truth and balance. The body of Mayat reflects the Jed pillar of stability, for without truth and justice there is no stability. Stars shine from the regal red robe, as well as all around Mayat. Truth leads the way. Justice is a light that shines in the depths of darkness and elevates all to a place akin to the divinities. Morality and ethics are most important for the situation which appears around this card. Whatever is currently under consideration must first be grounded in Mayat. A case well constructed must be investigated to see there are no hidden forces behind the scene. The Jed pillar of stability is essential to the resolution of the situation at hand. Mayat is the symbol of the sacred symmetry of the spheres. She imparts balance and justice to all in writing, healing, law, and life. Whatever the seeker is considering must be viewed from the point of Mayat, from purity and ethics. Mayat is crowned within a white halo. her radiance of the celestial rule she represents. She is divine mercy, guided by an intelligence that comes from the great being. Unlike modern notions of justice, Mayat is not about the slippery tongue and charismatic rhetoric of the lawyer. Mayat is about the truth that is above the black robes of the earthly judges who rule under their limited view. The principle of Mayat is the foundation, the ground, the stability, and the rule of all action. It is difficult to compare the modern icon of justice, the woman in blindfolds, with the shining, powerful image of this goddess whose eyes glow with intelligence and whose feathers of truth rules all actions. Mayat looks directly at all. She demands right action. She demands right action. It's about ethics. It's about morality. What is ethical and what is moral isn't necessarily, oh, somebody else did this to me, therefore I can go and do that to other people, or I can do it back to them. If that's the ethics and morality that you play under and you operate under, again, it's emotionally stunted, spiritually stunted, stunted in the realm of connection. Something that has been demonstrated to you in some way, maybe not recognized, but with the Three of Pentacles and this Father of Cups, it feels like it was trying to be given to you in absence. Right? There's 3 pentacles in this card, but we only see 2 people. It's that Cinderella and her mom that's the tree. But in her passing, Cinderella's mother comes into this Mayat energy. In her life, Cinderella's mother may have been like, oh yeah, girl, like they did you dirty, so what, you want to get even? Like you want to get back at them? But in her passing and the wisdom that she gains as she's integrated again with spirit, there are things that she will not do that in life she may have done. And then the Two of Swords is under this Three of Pentacles. This was heavy for Sagittarius. Sagittarius gets heavy sometimes, though. But Sagittarius is also carrying the collective energy of the South Node. Sagittarius is the energy that we're redefining right now. Sagittarius is the energy that we're restructuring right now. Like, we're seeing a lot of systems fall apart at an organizational and governmental level now that the South Node has completed its cycle in Capricorn. But what we need to look at also is the principles that those organizations were like built upon. It's like you can't dismantle the government or the establishment and not at the same time dismantle the philosophies that they were built upon. And with Pluto in Capricorn, with Pluto in Capricorn right now, Pluto's not going to let us stop at surface level whatever. Because if we stop at the surface, if the foundation is the same, hey girl, you build anything on top of that, it's going to fall in the same ways that the old one did. South Node and Sagittarius is going down to the foundation, going down to the philosophies, going down to those core beliefs. North Node, Gemini, is like, hey, why don't we try something new? Why don't we try something bold, something a little crazy, something a little courageous? Why don't we try something that, makes more sense to the layman? Because also, shadow side Sagittarius can get so lost in rhetoric and proofs and theorems and higher level whatever that they convince themselves of things that don't work in real life. Gemini is like, yeah, like you read that in a book, that's cute, but let me show you how it actually works in real life. Gemini is the one on the ground rather than the one from the penthouse. From that, seat trying to get a bird's eye view. But a bird's eye view, although you can see everything in its completeness, you don't get the same depth or the same depth and vision that you would get on the ground, right? From a bird's eye view, it's like people look tiny. When the bird is on the... I wonder how birds sort of... how they reconcile that. From the sky, because from the sky something can look tiny, but birds, they dive right down and it's like, well, on the ground it's a lot taller than it was from back there. Birds have to know how to navigate both the elevated and the on the ground. Sagittarius gets lost in the elevated. Shadow side Gemini can get lost in the on the ground. But that's the polarity that we're balancing right now. So with that, I hope you'll have a good whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that you are open and courageous and vulnerable enough to experience or open yourself to begin to experience all that lies outside of what you've already experienced. I hope that you're not so firmly held to your beliefs and your view of the world that you will manifest something but then prevent yourself from receiving it because it directly conflicts with everything that you already know to be true or that you believe to be true. And I'll catch y'all when I catch y'all. Bye.